All right, today we're going to critique a child's rock collection. Not just any child, it's my brother-in-law, so it's okay, but he's also not a child anymore. This was his growing up rock collection of random things that he recently shunted off on me. Go Cougs, I am contractually obligated to say by marriage. I haven't looked in it yet. I figured we'd go through and see what's in it, see if there's anything worth keeping, and toss the rest. So let's get into it. For starters, there's a Kimes Western Jewelry collection of Know Your Stones, which is actually kind of neat. I think I'll actually keep this, which I'm surprised to say from the first thing. There's a little bit of everything, although it's missing some of the sapphires, emeralds, and ruby, although I can actually replace those with some of my synthetic gems. Tons of dyed quartz, deep blue cullet. Not really sure what cullet means. Never heard of that term before, but there's a lot of interesting stones here that would certainly delight a small child or a grown geologist. Getting into it, our first big bin here. First thing that strikes me is there's not a ton of color in here, which is a little disappointing, but I see a lot of likely agate and petrified wood right off the bat. This is kind of opalized wood, I think. A lot of the same stuff here. There's a random boring granular rock. There's some mica in a garnet, a mica, maybe it's a schist. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of foliation there. It's a little bit rounded. There's a decent agate in here. There's some fortification bands on there. And here's an agate slice with a little bit of druzy on the inside and a little oval cabochon mark where you could cut it and make it into a cabochon if you wanted. There's some more opalized wood. A nice, almost mossy agate, kind of dark. Got some good lines on it. So a bag o' lightish colored rocks. They're very light, not really sure what they are. Lots of gravel. This looks like a slice of either moss or petrified wood, like moss agate or petrified wood. I would go more petrified wood. Yeah, definitely. Put that with the pet wood. Here is a probable rhyolite river rock. It's got a texture on it, so it's, not an agate or quartzite or anything. Could be interesting if you cut it in half. Here's an almost amethyst piece. Actually, yeah, it looks like amethyst on a little agate. That's pretty neat. Nice boring rock. There's some pet wood. Classic Saddle Mountains look to it, I'd say, although I don't know where it's from. Here's a bit of pinkish, kind of rhodonite looking. Let's see, we got some granite. So I didn't make my predictions of what would be in here, but I was expecting a lot of granite and petrified wood, which, after the fact, it looks like I'm making that up. Let's see, there's a little bit of partial geode. That was probably a geode at one point with a little bit of probably calcite in the middle. It could be quartz or calcite, but it feels really light. So I'd go calcite, some partial geode there. Let's see, there's a lot of little things in here. Here is another bag of mystery rocks. Let's see, we have a gray, rounded, feels heavy for its size. Could be basalt. That's my best guess for without breaking it open. That'll go in the collection. Another kind of the same light material. It's kind of tough, not pumice. It's very light, a lot of the same stuff there. So we got a lot of that kind of tough welded or lahar deposit kind of thing, but a little more lithified than the tuff from the Ice Harbor Dam locality. It's not flaking apart. A couple of different types of granite here, a rounded pebble. This is probably a schist or a gneiss that's been kind of rounded. And then a fragment of weathered basalt probably. Those can all go over there. There's a nice piece of petrified wood. That's some type of agate / jasper. That's got a really nice polish to it. Good job, whoever did that. There's some quartz points. Those might actually be good for faceting. They're nice and clear. Not sure where those would be from. There's no locations on any of this, so you can't really use it for, mineral displays necessarily. There's a little slab of green and gray, and this one's kind of transparent if you get the light behind it. Interesting. Here's more of that geode. Let's see, so there's some quartzite, lots of massive quartz in here. Good job separating it into its own little bag of all quartz, except for that little guy. Quartzite gravel there. Pinkish is kind of nice. Can't really do too much with it though. Looks like it's all pretty fractured. Set that aside. There's an interesting pattern on this. Looks like it broke. I guess that could be a fossil shell of some kind. Some massive kind of pinkish quartzite. Quartz. Yeah, quartz. Some granites, little granites. And then we have a bag of, without opening it, lots of diorite probably in there. Not gonna bother opening that one. Kind of the same thing, gravel, quartz, basalt. Looks like there's a chunk of petrified wood in there that we can liberate. And nope, that's more of a kind of shaly, fine-grained, probably sedimentary brown rock. The rest of this, oh, there's a Montana moss agate slice. I'm actually surprised so far. This has got some reasonable stuff in it. It's not just gravel that I was expecting. There's also quite a bit of tumbled material, slices for making into cabs, a lot of pieces of tumbled petrified wood. This one's kind of neat. It's got a front is polished and the back is opalized and still got a little bit of texture to it. There's a pretty nice clear agate, well, translucent agate. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. Even the kind of boring gray rock here has got some neat fracture lines to it. There's another, this look I would say is characteristic of Montana agates, kind of that milky color to it with a bit of moss over here, especially the Montana moss agates are well known. There's a few of those in here and these are surprisingly expensive if you get a big one. There's a couple of nice milky brown and tan pieces of petrified wood. They got some aesthetic to them. Okay, I think we'll call it good with this box from the collection. There's still one more down in that bag. Box 2, it's got some heft to it as well, about as much as that one did. Straight off the bat, we got some bags of rocks. Surprise, surprise. Ooh, this one has a bag of something inside the bag. Feels like marbles. Let's see, there's an acorn. Okay, another acorn. And some river rounded cobbles in there. No, there's a blue piece of, I don't know that that's turquoise. Probably not. Maybe it's a dyed something. You'd have to do a couple of tests to see if it's dyed or not. I think rubbing alcohol or something on turquoise imposters can remove the blue pigment. Yep, a few more marbles. Don't want to lose them. All right, I actually see some labels in the box over here, so I'll kind of close that up a little bit so don't blow away. Got a couple of nice slabs actually. There's a moss agate and a jasper. Looks kind of picture jaspery. Low point there. It looks a little cloudy, but I think if you polish that up, that could look pretty neat. See what you want to see. It's your own personal Rorschach test. And then the rest of this, agates. That's a neat little pile of agates almost. The banding, something in between the banding wore out faster. There's a slice of amber colored agate. Baltic is a pretty common place for those. Don't quote me on that. This isn't the gemstone channel. So some more agates. There's some neat fortification lines on that one. Dark, light. There's a little pendulum of really dark stuff. Really dark brown, maybe petrified wood. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this has labels in it, but they're not associated with the rocks at all. They're just randomly thrown in the box, which isn't very helpful. So there's some igneous granite from Sela, which is in central Washington. We've got some calcite mineral from Blewett Pass, igneous basalt scoria from Grand Coulee, metamorphic serpentine, some granodiorite, sedimentary sandstone, ooh, igneous gold ore, interesting. And that's from Liberty, which is north central Washington, kind of close to Ellensburg. Let's see, so we've got some, I think this one is actually labeled near its label, metamorphic serpentine. It's got a nice luster on it. Let's see, and there's a granodiorite probably. It's a granite, but it's kind of diorite because it's got a lot more dark minerals in there, the amphiboles. Let's see, metamorphic granite, nice. Let's see if I can find any of these. Well, there's a granite, there's some calcite mineral, so that goes with that geode. I'm not really sure what the gold ore from the Liberty area looks like. Oh, there's a quartz geode. A lot of just rounded river cobbles, some aesthetic looks to them there, if you like that kind of thing. This looks kind of like obsidian, although not, this looks like it's been cut here, but the way that it's fractured over here, it's got a conchoidal fracture, and it's got a kind of characteristic obsidian glass sheen there. Here's a little piece of vesicular basalt. There's some opalized wood. This is really light for its size, which is why I would say it's opalized. It's common opal, and it's probably wood based on the kind of outlying material colors there. There's some more there. All right, I don't want to dump out the rest of this just because there's some labels in there, but I think it would be a good time to talk about labels. Labeling your rock collections is important because no matter what you think, you're going to forget where you found that igneous basalt scoria, which is probably this actually. I guess it could be scoria. If you have labels, you need to be able to either keep them with the rock, so wrap it in the same kind of protective material, or put a number on the label, put a number on the rock with like white out and a Sharpie is one way to do it, or there's special paints that are supposed to be archival that will last a long time. But you need some kind of system to tie the label to the rock, which some people, if it's a big enough rock and you have a fine enough handwriting, either draw the label on here. If you only like the top part of the rock, then you can paint over part of the bottom and write on there, or print off a very small label and tape or glue it on with clear glue so that it stays on there, which would work for a river rounded rock like that, but might be more difficult to keep on a more crystalline rock with an irregular surface like this granodiorite. I'm not going to take out the rest of the rocks from the box there, but they're all basically in this vein of river rounded quartzes. That's a quartzite there, quartz. There's a banded quartz. 90% of what you'd find in the rivers around here are quartz and basalt, which kind of plays out with what I see here. Well, I think we'll leave it there for today. That was actually a decent rock collection, especially for a kid. There was a lot of variety, a lot of pretty decent opalized wood, some more interesting agates and tumbled material that would be pretty cool. I think a lot of this I'll donate to the juniors club of my local rock club, but there will definitely be a couple of things that I'll be keeping, including this Montana moss agate, which I like the way that the kind of follows the little bubble there in the original agate. And there's a couple pieces of banded amethyst. But I'd say my favorite couple of rocks are not the agates at all. I can take them or leave them, but I really like this serpentine with the luster and the way that the lines kind of crisscross along the side. And you get a really good feel of the cleavage and habit and a lot of the properties of the serpentine just in the little hand sample, which I think is pretty neat. And also this mystery rock, which I'll have a clip here of it in the light where it's kind of translucent in the green. So I'm very interested in polishing this up and seeing what it looks like all done. And of course, this handy little teaching chart. All in all, I'd give this collection a B+. So if you like this kind of thing, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.